mentioned that we're having minor technical difficulties because you were negotiating with your computer hamsters.
Well, we should be live now. Should be. Doesn't mean we are.
My phone just said we went live.
I haven't had. And we're not getting paid for it.
Nope. We just go live.
We are live.
This video is sponsored by Your Name Here.
Or by
Apparently, we're being sponsored by Omen by HP.
Yes. Well, let's see. A bit of geeky stuff happened this week, right?
Some geeky stuff. Some sad geeky stuff.
Sad geeky stuff. Some
sad geeky stuff that was 9 levels of Kawinky Dinky.
Yeah, totally freaky. But we'll get into that in a sec. Trying to think. Yeah, but let's see. We got new video in the background. That's just the outside of the building. Everybody can just wave hi as they drive by.
Don't stop. Please stop. No.
Oh, please
Don't
stop.
Stop believing.
I guess we still can't discuss Rebels.
We still can't?
I'm not stopping you guys from talking about it.
All right, well, let's see. Badoo.
Okay.
Yeah, well, huh?
But before we get full on into Rebels, because I want to point this out, even though someone still also hasn't watched Discovery. I realized this the other day. All right, who plays Gabriel Lorca?
Jason Isaacs.
Who plays the Grand Inquisitor?
Jason Isaacs.
How does Gabriel Lorca die?
He falls through a energy ball.
Dude! Get the tinfoil hats, man, for real.
Gabriel Lorca dies falling into a reactor. The Grand Inquisitor dies falling into a reactor.
You're freaking me out now. Stop.
Got better. Oh, hey, we got a Firefly in the chat, and yes, we will discuss that in a minute here, Firefly.
Well, I didn't know about the New Horizons probe.
There's also a viewer named Electrical Skateboard.
It's a bot because they were on when I was live streaming drawing the other day, they were on.
They probably just never closed the window. Some people do that.
It's just a bot.
so somebody gained a lot of points with a certain streamer.
Yes. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is the neon light better than the flashy logo?
I kind of like it.
It's fine.
But we still
Of
have
course,
to do our...
I can also see the slightly blacked out area you have in the upper left-hand corner where I'm guessing videos are going to go.
You mean right-hand corner?
Right-hand corner, sorry.
Actually, no. It's just open sky.
Because I'm seeing, where there is a little bit of light, but it's being blocked out by something in front of it.
Really?
With a straight line.
Yeah.
That's really weird. You know what? That is really odd. Your gamma settings must be really high because I don't see it. And it is a mask in the video.
I see it, man.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of flare.
There's
There's
a light.
something in front of it.
There's a light that flashes almost in the middle, and when it flashes, there's a little black line.
Really weird.
Anyway, how about we knock out our...
Yeah, let's do the opener, and we'll be right back. Which I'm working on the new opener as well, too. So, but this
The
is still the
animated
old
one?
opener. Yes and no. The
I
animated
want
one
that.
I'm still working on. I am working on it, and it's in sketch forms right now. I haven't done any inks or colors to it, but I mean, I can drop that in here if people want to see it. The opener as it in its whatnot.
Oh, okay.
What I have ready already.
Well, you know what? Let's just do this. All right. Do you have that ready?
No, I don't. I've got the video of the 25 seconds of what's already animated.
Okay, well, it has the following broadcast part on there.
Yeah, I can throw that in here. Hold
So
on.
let's just play that so they can see a preview of it.
There we go.
In the meantime,
Yes, while he's getting that ready, I think.
Vamp.
Vamp.
What?
We have to vamp to cover the silence.
I'm moving along. Anyway, I think we should do a little shout out.
Well, shout out to.
Well, it's going to be a pretty short shout out because we have no names to go for here, but those
Random dudes.
Those two individuals who
Two individuals who met my dad at a coffee shop.
Yes, who did that. They apparently listened to the show, so shout out to you guys.
Thank you, random citizen.
The fact that we hear that people actually, listen is kind of cool, so by all means, we like you to keep listening. Hell, show up if you can. That'd be great. Then we don't have to shout out to random.
We're not just creepy guys talking to ourselves late at night.
God damn it, I need the ability to kick him out of here. That was creepy.
That was creepy as hell, man. But I can't blame him. Earlier, I was talking to my grandmother and became Christopher Walken. It's like I was like, you did not explain to me that you was going. I can't even do the Christopher Walken thing intentionally now, but I just descended into Christopher Walken while she explaining to her that I didn't know she was going to Chili's more often, so I didn't give her my plenty number.
Tell me that you were gonna go to Chili's. Something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems like something you would do.
Give me a second. Let me pull this in here because it's going to start up and it's going to make noise.
The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect.
That was not the Marine Corps.
It is ready and set to go.
Hold on to your butts.
The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect this station or any affiliated partners. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
And it's done.
And it's done.
Sneak peek.
That's all we've got so far.
That's it.
Beta test.
Oh, animating by hand takes forever.
Also, it's when you only have one person set up a whole team. Nobody.
That's true. And when you're trying to do it with 7 other things in the works as well as another commission possibly coming down the line.
No, they're cut off.
Keep your lights on. That's what's important.
Yes. Pay the bills is what's
I was
important.
going to say, considering how much you're getting for the game thing, I would think that at least should cover the lights. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a per job thing. It's not like I got a flat rate. It's a flat rate per job, per what item in the job. It's all itemized.
Keeping Adam's lights on is one reason I don't freak out.
Yes.
I don't.
He could
I don't.
freak out. It's been over a year now.
It's over 2.
It has not been 2 years.
Oh wait, it's been like 2.5, 1.5,
No.
1.5.
Okay, maybe one in 2-3 months.
See, I commissioned it. What? I commissioned it before I started working at Office Depot,
Okay.
and I started working at Office Depot in November of 2016.
That's definitely over a year.
All right.
Because I know it's been through. I'll get it to you by Christmas, and then the next
Twice.
year I'll get it to you by Christmas.
Yes. Well,
That's where the 2 years thing came in because he heard it twice.
technically, it just needs a good coat of paint, and I don't know. Never mind. I don't know what to do with the paint
It just
job.
needs
I
a
know you
fresh
said not
coat
to
of
do it.
paint.
He'll get it to you by Wookiee Life Day.
It's got a little bit of sanding on the helmet, and it's got to get painted. It's sitting here staring at me. It's on my sculpting table, staring at me, sitting on the little roundy thing I have. Literally sitting there, just staring at me all the time.
Ever have an overlay that goes across the screen that it's just the figure staring at you?
Well, we do have some sad news, which Firefly did point out. Specifically, Firefly states that Mr. Hawking has, as I understand, stood his last watch and makes now for the undiscovered country. Nice Star Trek reference, considering he was also in that.
Yes.
Only person to play himself.
And I did hear that they tried to turn him off and turn him back on, but it didn't work. Sorry.
I think this is
dude, it was vicious on Facebook and Twitter today.
Oh, the one I see right now, I think is much better. So, from Twitter, God at the tweet of God. It's only been a few hours, and Stephen Hawking already mathematically proved to my face that I don't exist.
What was the one that got me? Now, this is where the mature audience stuff comes in, folks, because this was kind of blue and it made me laugh. It said, yes, Stephen Hawking was a genius scientist, but let us not forget that this man also cheated on his wife while looking like a pet dispenser made out of foreskin. Which I was like, oh my God, vicious. They were relentless. I mean, the man was well loved, which I guess if you're well loved, that means social media just makes fun of you after you're dead.
Well, he also had a great sense of humor for considering.
Considering. I just didn't realize how many people actually physically knew the man. So many people who, I mean, posting photos. It's like, here's me with him. Here's me with him. I was like, holy cow. Y'all knew him.
Considering he actually had a rather low lifespan expectation when they.
Yes, he beat the odds left and right. He was what, 76?
Mm-hmm. Now and then he passed away, what, on Albert Einstein's birthday, right?
Yes, Albert
and
Einstein's
on Pi Day.
And on Pi Day. So, yeah, the coincidences there are slightly odd.
So much science on this day. Not against the scientists who went up. Spread out a little bit.
Now, I know there has been false information, because I've seen a couple of people post it, that Galileo was also born on this day, or died on this day. He did not. Galileo died in January. But Karl Marx was born, or was he born or he died? Karl Marx, one of those. He died or was born on this day. A couple other famous people have been born.
That Karl Marx does the social sciences. Does that really count?
Yeah, not really. But either way, I mean, Stephen Hawking's passing, it was yet one more great mind just to the ether. Hopefully they won't lose his brain like they did Einstein's.
Not nearly as sad a note, but another sad note. Toys R Us is closing all its stores.
That is a huge end of an era right there.
Supposedly, up to 15% of the toy sales will be lost and never recovered with them closing.
10 to 15, somewhere in there. It's not a small amount, and 33,000 people affected.
Yeah, what got me is because there has been a lot of banter back and forth on social medias about this, and quite a few people have chimed in on the economics of it, and a lot of the blame has been put on internet shopping, and and a lot of people are claiming that internet shopping is still cheaper, especially like Amazon and those kind of things. But just doing some research today on my own, because I knew this was coming and I knew we were going to talk about it, I went and I priced things from Walmart, Target, Amazon, Toys R Us, and a few others. And Amazon was no cheaper, and unless you have Prime, it was actually more expensive.
It probably
Amazon?
also depends on the item that you're getting.
I did a various. I went across the board. I did electronics, I did toys, I did foodstuffs, I did bulk supplies, and I did just like everyday items.
Am I having a Berenstain Bears moment here? Or I remember at one point, instead of establishing their own web presence, Toys R Us's web sales were exclusively through Amazon at one point. Or am I losing my mind?
No, they were through eBay. You could buy Toys R Us stuff through eBay, I thought.
I thought it was Amazon like years and years and years ago.
I'd have to do some research on that one. But when it came to the actual buying, I mean, there were items that were actually cheaper in the brick and mortar stores, Target and Walmart, than you can buy on Amazon. That's because Amazon, you're buying the full retail price plus shipping on most of the items. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. Tablets. I just looked for Samsung tablets and a few other Lenovo tablets and stuff, and places that carried it. Best Buy, Amazon, and a few others. They were all the exact same price. Toys, Amazon, Walmart, Target. Target might have been a little higher than Walmart and Amazon, but Amazon and Walmart, exact same price.
Amazon's price advantages more are from a few years ago than from now. People have just gotten used to it at this point.
I think what it isn't that they have destroyed a lot of the brick and mortar competition.
Now, Toys R Us was definitely the majority of their items were more expensive.
Oh, they were always more expensive than, say, Target or Walmart, but they carried stuff that Target and Walmart didn't carry.
This is true, but then again, they could because of what their focus was.
And now, that's not saying the financial woes and the issues they had in debt and stuff like that was due to the fact that their prices were too high. Yeah, it's not because your prices were too high. It was just somewhere along the line, someone screwed up financially, and it just came to bite them in the butt. And I really hope someone picks it up. Maybe Amazon will buy them or something, somebody, and keep the brick and mortar stores, because when you're buying, I know personally I do buy stuff online, but it's like if I need something, and I saw this back and forth, we're like, oh, I just get everything online. I was like, if I need a part for my sink, I'm not buying it online because my sink is leaking. I am going to a brick and mortar store. If I want a pair of jeans, I'm not buying them online. I'm going to the store. I'm going to try them on. Same with shoes.
I think hardware stores are not completely immune to the online phenomenon, but relatively immune.
I think the better thing is, like, my wife works for a major retailer, and other retailers like Home Depot and Lowe's, you can buy online and pick it up in the store, which is kind of cool.
Toys R Us would let you do that.
Yes, Toys R Us had that as well, but they also had online shipping and stuff like that if you just wanted to ship.
One of the things that drove me nuts about Toys R Us is, and at the same time I loved it, they would find a toy from 5 years ago. They would find like a pallet of them in the back somewhere, and they would toss them out on the shelves. But instead of, when Walmart has the same situation, they put that stuff out as clearance items. Toys R Us slaps a premium price on it.
Yeah.
And that would drive me nuts, because because the Toys R Us near me, and when I lived in Wilmington, would constantly have older Nerf guns that I was looking for from years ago, but they were charging more than they were new for them.
Now, this hasn't been confirmed, though. They're closing. NPR heard it from an anonymous source, and they're the main source of this information coming out. It's not, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to get the final confirmation.
I don't know. CNN Money says that
It's
source
confirmed.
told them that they will shut or sell all of their almost 800 stores.
Apparently it's confirmed. Washington Post has got it saying that, yep, they're going down.
And supposedly the CEO notified employees earlier in the day, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal.
Now, are they going to liquidate their stuff, or are we talking they're just going to shutter their...
Liquidation.
I mean,
What I saw was they were liquidating.
Okay, well, it's time to go hit Toys R Us then.
Not any near me, sadly.
Now, when Kmart shuttered, finally, because they didn't, all of them aren't closed, but the one around here closed. They're not all gone yet, but they did shutter quite a few stores. And the one around here did it in a month-long stage where you didn't go right in the beginning into liquidation because it was only 15% off. You went right about the 3/4 mark when they got it down to 40 to 50 to 60%. And that's when everything flew off the shelves. And by the time you came back when they were at 80 and 90%, there was nothing left but like a couple of bags of dirt and some umbrellas.
Well, hold on. My dad is currently listening, and Dad, I will sing Journey whenever I want.
Is he listening? Is he on Facebook or on?
I think he's slightly delayed. I don't know, because he just now sent me the message about Journey.
Ding.
Well, if you're going to sing Journey, I'll sing Kansas.
We're going to take a journey to Kansas.
Okay.
And I could sing Alabama? I don't know. Are we doing it all at the same time is the question.
I don't know. But Carry On My Wayward Son is
he's listening via YouTube.
Oh, okay.
The interesting thing is that Toys R Us made it this far, considering that one of the major equity firms that owns it is Bain Capital. Who are notorious for shutting companies down, whether they make a profit or not.
Well, that might have been part of it, though. I mean, they couldn't shed billions of dollars of debt, and people just didn't want to go there. I mean, I've been there a few times, and it just was pricey to go there. It's sad though, because there is things there that you can't find anywhere else. Learning toys.
I would go there to look at things, but that was about it.
He's asking none of us to sing, so now we all have to sing.
Carry on my wayward son. There you go.
I love the fact that you half did that as the Joker.
Speaking of the Joker, did anybody see Tommy Wiseau's thing?
Oh my god! I almost put it on here.
I saw it, and
I saw it was posted, and I'm like, no, I am not watching this.
I did not watch it either.
It is disturbing to say the least. But what's really sad is, in some version, I possibly could see it, but no.
Speaking of weird versions of DC characters, Nicolas Cage is finally going to get to be Superman as part of the Teen Titans Go movie.
You don't say.
I'm not sure if that's legit or not, but I hope it is, honestly.
It is. It's legit. He was cast as Superman.
Also, apparently, singing Kansas shows good taste.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is the end of my intercommentary with my father, who is not present.
I think we just have to come up with songs that is of bad taste.
I could sing anything by Shakira. Bah!
Okay.
It's amazing. All that package, and she sounds like a goat. Which is very funny that they cast her as a llama in Zootopia.
So she's Fran Drescher 2.0?
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
Don't ever do that again.
Well, we can't stop him. I mean,
no,
we have no means to kick people anymore.
We can't stop him, just like we can't stop believing.
Oh.
Darkness, my old friend.
All right. Well, where were we? Oh, speaking of DC, guess Justice League is out on Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray and DVD. And I know there are many Justice League haters and detractors out there, but I gotta say, I picked up the 4K version. It'd be my third 4K movie now. I've got Coco, I got Thor, and I've got Justice League. I watched Justice League on the 4K version, and while there have been a lot of comments about 4K video being darker, and it really is. It actually is much truer to what you saw on screen in the theaters, and it actually isn't as blown out as you would see it on Blu-ray and DVD. I have my settings on my television set to where, I mean, it's not dark. I can watch it in daylight, and it's fine. And then I threw the Blu-ray in because all the extras are on the Blu-ray. And then I decided, let me check the movie out. And the difference is night and day. It freaked me out how unrealistic the Blu-ray looks compared to the 4K. The 4K looks like you're standing right there. The colors are like it's all right there. It looks real. And then you put the Blu-ray in and everything looks blown out and washed out. And I'm like, oh man, I hate this. Being a visual person, and I always thought Blu-ray was like the shiznit. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Check this out. And then the 4K came around, and now I'm hooked. And of course, everything's going to have to be 4K from here on out.
You made a mistake.
I did. I made a huge mistake. I'm not going to go back and buy movies I already own, though. Unless it's Star Wars.
Of which is also going to be on sale now.
Yeah, it's actually, you can get the digital now. And yes, my son thanked me for buying it because he was watching it upstairs. He was like, oh, you've got it. I was like, yes, we got it. But, yeah, and it's another one of those movies that people either hate or they love. And I've seen it now, counting the one time I've seen it at home, 4 times. And it just gets better every time I watch it.
Yeah, I don't have it yet, but eventually.
And you know what's really sad is all of these purchases will end very soon as the Christmas money runs out.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it's like I've been pushing it and pushing it. I'm like, well, I can do this, and let me save a little for this. Oh no, let me buy this. What do you got left? $6. Then you have my wife who hoards Amazon gift cards like it was going out of style. Pretty sure she could buy an RV on Amazon right now with the stack of Amazon cards she has sitting over there.
I hate to backtrack, but I have confirmed in 2010, Toys R Us announced a 10-year partnership to sell toys online with Amazon.
That was when?
2000, excuse me.
Oh, so their 10-year came and went.
Yeah.
And then
well,
Amazon
it sounds
decided.
like they sued to get out of it. They sued in 2004, and they were released from the deal in 2006.
So who paid who the money? That's the question. I would think that Toys R Us paid Amazon for that.
Toys R Us paid Amazon, apparently.
Racking up the debt.
Because they didn't even have their own online site, ToysRUs.com, redirected back to Amazon during that deal.
Wow. Yeah, so KB Toys, Toys R Us, Children's Palace, they're all gone. My kids are going to lose their minds. They kind of caught half of it when I was talking to my wife about it. My son came in, Toys R Us is closing. I was like, yeah, they're not going to be any more.
I miss Lionel Kitty City.
What?
What?
Ooh, you know, I'm going to have to hit the Toys R Us outlet store over here.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's right. I'm the only one that would probably know what Lionel Kitty City is.
Why does that sound familiar?
It was another chain of toy stores that was fairly big in parts of the East Coast for a long time.
I think there was one on Long Island.
Yeah, I think there was. I loved Lionel
familiar.
Kitty City growing up.
My toy store growing up was Sunshine Toys in Staten Island. That's where I got all my Star Wars figures. It's where I got everything. And when they closed, I was like besides myself, because Toys R Us was too expensive even way back then.
Lionel Kitty City was the ones with the kangaroo as their mascot.
Yeah, that's really sad. I can remember that. I would go to Sunshine Toys. This would have been like 1980, 81, 82, 83, right around Empire and Jedi. And Star Wars figures at Sunshine Toys were $2. I think during the early 80s, they were $1.99 for an action figure. You went to Toys R Us, they were $3.
I remember going to KB Toys for my Playmate Star Trek figures. Because
they were the only one who carried them.
I don't think they were the only ones, but they carried more than anybody else.
If Toys R Us did carry them, it was just the ones you never wanted.
Or the weird, like, 10 or 12-inch, like, doll ones.
It is a shame. It's a shame to see it go, but again, it just leaves the opening for something. I mean, Circuit City's coming back.
And yes, Lionel Kitty City was originally founded by Lionel Corp, the toy train guys.
Now, has anybody heard why Mattel and Hasbro is going to be really affected by this? Did they have some kind of exclusive deal with them?
They were suppliers.
I know they were suppliers, but I mean...
They made up like a very big chunk of their money.
Yeah, It sounds like Barbie and Lego had a lot of sales through Toys R Us.
Which I'm not surprised. They had the biggest selection of Lego. Walmart has
My wife just chimed in. My wife just chimed in. She thinks that Mattel and Hasbro both loaned Toys R Us money.
That's certainly possible.
And they really screwed the pooch on that one. Or in Toys R Us's case, they screwed the pound puppy. Really nothing.
But it looks like a lot of toy company stocks have dropped with the announcement of the Toys R Us issues.
Yeah, I think it's because of the amount of money they're going to lose. Seriously, nothing for the screwed the pound puppy?
We chose to ignore it.
Would have been better if I had said screwed the Paw Patrol?
it's not making it better.
Yeah, apparently both Hasbro and Mattel, Toys R Us accounted for nearly 10% of their overall sales.
Wow.
It's a big chunk of cash flow from them.
That's huge.
On a side note in regards to Circuit City, yeah, it's been coming back, quote unquote, since June 2016.
Oh, it looks like Frozen sales are finally starting to fall off.
Oh, yay.
Some
But
people just couldn't let it go.
Star Wars sales fell as well.
Notice how we all ignored that one too? Really? Because I giggled to myself when you said it.
I don't get it.
You wouldn't.
Well
so,
then.
Can
You
we
go ahead.
can we talk about the fact, since we're just going to well then now, that Funimation is, kind of, sort of officially asked Nintendo to include Goku in the new Smash Brothers game?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I posted it in the Cantina chat. Funimation tweeted a picture. It says like a new foe has appeared, and it's got the silhouette of Goku, and it says Nintendo America. Hey Nintendo, when's our boy Goku going to join the fight?
Not that they really have any room to speak on the matter. It's up to Nintendo and what is it, Shueisha and Fuji TV to come up with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly,
Snake
though,
appeared.
I can see them probably wanting to capitalize on it right now because, well, there's a current extremely popular fighting game out right now. That kind of sort of revolves around the Goku.
Considering that in Japan crossovers is not unusual, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo and Fuji TV or whatever.
I thought it was pretty much expected.
Well, yeah. Well, over there, the laws are much different than they are over here. That's why we don't see some of those games because of the laws
True.
involved.
Yeah, we don't get to see Bugs Bunny bitch slapping Mickey Mouse or anything.
No, I mean in Japan they actually have quite a few games where there's been these massive crossovers where you will have like, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe, from G.I. Joe, and Optimus Prime fighting alongside like Gundams and stuff like that.
That just makes sense, though.
The point is that they can do that much easier, and then they just can't port it over here because, the way our copyright laws are.
True.
Not only that, but the different companies licensing different characters, stuff like that.
Obviously, it can be done because, as pointed out, they've had, with Super Smash Brothers, they've had several quote unquote guest fighters, and we've seen in the Soul Calibur series, they've had some, guest fighters, Yoda,
And they had Yoda, Vader, and Starkiller in 3, I think. And then they had a Tekken character, Link, and Spawn in Soul Calibur 2.
It was Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu's been a character in Soul Calibur for a while, dude. As a matter of fact, I think Yoshimitsu is just kind of like joint owned by both franchises at this point because he appears in both games.
No, you're right. It was Heihachi, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was Heihachi.
Sorry, I don't know why I said Yoshimitsu.
It's because he has appeared in Tekken.
I want the bear.
He wants to have the bear.
Okay, well,
so you have the right to bear arms.
I have to go back and what's the word I'm looking for? Not redact. Crap, what's the word where they go back in a newspaper and fix something?
Correct.
whatever. I have a correction.
Yeah, you have a correction.
The correction. Earlier, when I had said this, that Galileo did not die on the same day as Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was born on the 300th anniversary of Galileo.
My father says the term you're looking for is retraction.
Retraction. There it is. It's retraction. Stephen Hawking.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Stephen Hawking was born on the 300th anniversary of Galileo's death. So,
Alistair's dad, the official dad of the Geek EZ.
My mom's listened to the show. We've talked to her before.
Does this mean Dad has to cook us all barbecue now?
Barbecue.
I won't say no. And also, Yoda, Starkiller, and Vader were in Soul Calibur 4.
Oh, okay. I know it was after 2.
It's been a while back, yes.
Didn't that get ported over here, though?
Oh, yeah.
It was sold here, yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, I remember that.
Point being is that, it can be done, but not to the level that they do over in Japan.
It's why we don't, like, there's a short 2-part anime thing that involves characters from One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, and I think Naruto, all on an island, all competing together. And we're never going to see it here. Because they're owned by the same company over in Japan.
No, but why? What? I mean, seriously, you got Goku? I mean, who's going to go up against Goku?
Yes.
They did.
Naruto.
Goku would wipe the floor with him.
But we're never going to see that here in America because so many different license companies.
True.
Dad said he has to listen now because we made him famous.
Famous is a strong word.
Yes. Infamous, maybe.
Infamous. Notorious.
He's the notorious DAD.
I was thinking
Infamous.
I was thinking it. I was thinking it.
See, that would be the title, half the title for tonight's show, The Notorious DAD, or... And we'll figure out what the or is later. See, Firefly had a question. What prevents the original owners from just cutting out the middlemen?
Of what?
Contracts.
Contracts. Big money contracts.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to cut out the middlemen because they have contracts with these licensing companies. They have no real choice but to go through these companies here in the U.S.
Also, several of those Japanese
Funimation or wherever.
Also, said most of those Japanese production companies have no presence here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons that the Robotech and Macross stuff got licensed out the way it did. They got licensed out to so many different companies because they didn't have any presence here in America. And then you got Harmony Gold, who it turns out didn't actually have the license for half the stuff it sued for all the time.
Again, though, it can be done. It's just not easily here in the U.S. If they had a presence here, I'm sure they'd be much easier for them, but they don't.
Yeah, the reason we got like the crossovers for Soul Calibur is because all the characters that were appearing in the Soul Calibur games were either already owned by Bandai Namco, or owned by companies that made the actual console had licensing agreements with.
I'm not sure how Smash Brothers makes it work.
Well,
it's because Nintendo does have a presence here in the U.S.
Nintendo, because Nintendo has a presence here in the state, they have Nintendo US. They have a licensing agreement with Konami, which is how they got Snake. They have a really close relationship with Sega. That's how they got Sonic. And then, well, they've always had a strong connection with Square, and that's how they got Cloud.
I'm sorry about the dead air.
And they got Mega Man because they have history with Capcom going way back.
And, one of my favorite parts about Mega Man being added to Smash was that when Nintendo, the guys working on it for the Smash part were asking Capcom for references and stuff. There were people working at Capcom who didn't actually know that those were official versions of Mega Man. They thought it was fan art.
Wow.
What?
Yes, so the guy who was working on Mega Man and Smash and everything said, I think while I have permission to play with the character, I might as well go ahead and make a full-blown Mega Man game and hide it inside Smash. He never did, but yeah, it was a story where Mega Man's Final Smash has a bunch of different iterations of Mega Man showing up and doing a big blast. And so they were requesting specific character concept art so they could get it from all the right angles. And some of the newer people actually did not know that those were actual versions of X or Rock, depending on what you were going with.
Well, it has been around a long time.
It has been.
And it also went silent for a long time.
When are we going to get Bomberman in a Smash Brothers game?
Probably never.
Dig Dug.
Not getting that either.
Well, I mean, Bomberman just appeared in a game on the Switch. He just had a new Switch game, so there's a relationship there.
It would require Bomberman to be an actual popular character. It's all about character popularity.
Chapper in there throwing beer mugs at people.
Well, not necessarily based on popularity. There are some characters that they put into, previous Smash titles that.
Well, then they like
Robot, for example.
The original
Nintendo Robot.
Well, that was all. That was a.
You're telling me Bomberman is less popular than the Wii Fit trainer?
Have you seen the Wii Fit trainer?
Giggity, giggity. All right.
Which would you rather look at running across the screen?
He does have a point.
Hey, I posted a link in here on Facebook and on the Twitch chat. It's a video from behind the scenes that made me tear up a little bit.
I'm not gonna watch it now. It's gonna make me tear up.
Oh, I mean, it's a behind the scenes shot of where Luke and Leia are on screen together in The Last Jedi, and it's a different take than that's in the film because Carrie Fisher goes much more emotional in this scene, in this version of it. I don't know if it's, but behind the scenes, there are other people that you can see it in their faces that it's a very emotional moment, and it's quite touching. Especially when you think about the fact that she's gone, and yeah. It's sad.
It's very sad. Let's see. Another comment from Firefly here. Platinum and Capcom should get together and make a co-op game with Bayonetta and Dante. Oh, that'd be interesting. It'd work.
That would actually be pretty cool. Because Platinum does really good. The Bayonetta is basically Devil May Cry with a hair witch.
You're not wrong.
So it would be cool to have that, especially if they can pull off what Devil May Cry has done in the past with the doppelganger style, where you can actually be, hey, co-op.
What they need to
We
do.
forgot about that. The Marvel vs. Capcom, where they've had those guys cross.
They need to take a Robot Chicken thing that was funny when Robot Chicken did it, but they actually need to cross Grand Theft Auto and Mario Kart.
What I need is for them to make another Beautiful Joe game.
Need another Leisure Suit Larry is what we need.
Actually, speaking of Devil May Cry, he's going because speaking of crossovers, Monster Hunter has always had a lot of weird crossovers. Like you could get Samus, you could do a bunch of different things, but one of the more upcoming crossovers is you're going to be able to get Dante's outfit, 2 of Dante's swords, including one named Alistair.
He's just wheeling Alistair around, and he's just going, wee!
As well as his guns.
Oh, you mean you being wielded will have guns? Wow. Boy, they're really putting guns on this thing, aren't they? There's Alistair going, wee! And shooting things as he's being swung around, hitting monsters.
If they're going to have crossovers, they need to have the crossover from the character that ties together way too many TV shows, Detective John Munch.
And also, the reason I thought about that is because Wolfie did say when he did another Beautiful Joe game, and Alistair the Sword becomes Alistair the Demon in the Beautiful Joe games. Did you know that, Wolfie?
I think so, but probably not.
You're not going to see much show up in any games. He's been gone from TV for quite a long time. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Only a couple of years.
Longer than that, dude.
No, he was on SVU for years, and he showed back up in season 17 of SVU for an episode.
That doesn't count.
Did you just say season 17?
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to say it then. We get 17 seasons of SVU, but we only got 1 season of Firefly.
Actually, I think they're on season 19 of SVU.
23rd. Okay, just kidding. He actually's been, let's see. That guy has been in like 23 seasons. He's shown up on television in any capacity.
Plus,
Munch has been around a long time.
Plus, he appeared on Sesame Street as Munch. He appeared on X-Files as Munch. He was from Homicide: Life on the Streets. He ties together so many TV universes, it's crazy.
So wait a second, Sesame Street and Law and Order are in the same universe?
And the X-Files.
Well, that makes sense.
And Homicide.
Sesame Street exists in a 4th dimensional space, so it connects to everything.
Well, that means that Law and Order and Homicide and all of those also exist in the same.
And Pigs in Space.
And because R2 and 3PO appeared on Sesame Street as R2 and 3PO from Star Wars.
Look, Sesame Street just kind of crosses all kinds of boundaries.
Oh, and on episode 5 of Luther, Idris Elba's character mentions Munch as an NYPD SVU contact. And apparently he was on an episode of Arrested Development as Munch.
But yes, as a cast member, he's been gone a long time. That's all I was getting at. Firefly added something else here, sort of related. Platinum doing something similar in-house with Bayonetta and Sam Gideon from Vanquish.
I'm just throwing links up that have no bearing whatsoever to what we're talking about. Just more behind the scenes stuff from Star Wars. Everybody got emotional. Everything was emotional.
It's so emotional, man.
Well, they knew it was a ticking clock one way or another.
I guess, but I mean,
probably not on her.
I saw the Yoda one. Yeah, no, seeing as she was supposed to be a big part of
it.
it.
Supposedly Hamill got like really emotional when he met the Yoda puppet.
He didn't get emotional, but you can see it in his face that it's bringing back. I mean, yeah, it's definitely. What's really cool is in the film, it's so dark and Yoda just looks dark. Seeing the puppet with Frank Oz testing it, it's like, wow, that is the Yoda puppet, and there's no denying that they used the old mold and everything. It's the Yoda puppet. Page turners, they were not.
So should we finally discuss Rebels?
Shield.
Yeah, let's just do a little Shield.
I am behind on Shield, but go ahead and discuss it.
I'm going to tell you right now, you didn't miss much with the 100th episode. They were just saying this huge thing, and yeah, it was kind of a anticlimactic.
Somehow I'm 2 episodes behind, and I just have not had time to sit down and watch the one I missed or the 100th episode. I do know what's her name loses her arms, though.
Yes. No, I think the huge thing was the fact that the marriage happened and what they bombshell dropped.
Yes. But even then, it was still very anticlimactic because a lot of people had already figured that out.
Really? I guess I sure as hell didn't.
Well, I mean, I had been reading some things.
You are armored vehicle. You are not observant.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't figure it out. I read it somewhere, and I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. And yeah, they confirmed it, but I don't know. It was... I was more expecting someone major to kick the bucket, and that didn't happen.
I mean, they also... I think the reason why they made such a big deal is because of who all they brought back. They literally brought them all back.
True. Except for Trip.
We even had, to Wolfie's happiness, Ward.
No!
Not quite the way you think, but yes.
No, we had 5.
Counts. Still counts.
It does count.
Pretty sure it was actually the artist, not artist, the actor in costume for it.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was as well.
How do you bring back Ward but not Trip?
Because Trip dead, man.
He totally did.
So is Ward.
Hive kind of sort of took a nuclear explosion to the face.
Yeah, but they explained. Did you not see the 100th episode?
No, I have not. I have not watched it yet.
These guys have not.
Okay, so it makes sense. I mean, the one character that does come back that was a really cool thing was a big deal, and it works very well. I won't spoil anything else.
All right, I'll be sure to watch it tonight.
I will tell you, the more I see of where they're going with all of the Marvel shows, and the fact that there have been, I'm only a couple of episodes into Jessica Jones. But they've already referenced more of the MCU than they have in a while.
Oh yeah.
So I am very curious as to whether or not we're not going to see these characters on the big screen in some shape or form.
Yeah, I mean they actually mentioned the raft at one point, so
you'll
get that. It's like, hey, wait, that's actually a nice little touch. So we actually proved that it's still all interconnected.
Yeah, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't done it since, like, episode 3, where they really got into it.
Wait, there he is. He's speaking, and our
nothing?
Thing is,
oh, no, we're offline.
You dropped, dude.
Am I back?
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa, that's weird. That was really weird.
Well, Dad's reporting us as being offline.
Yeah, we're back online. We're back. On YouTube, we're back.
Give it a minute here.
Oh, look, we're sponsored by Omen again.
Oman. O-M-A-N, Oman.
That was really weird. But like I was saying,
I won't do that again.
That S.H.I.E.L.D., the last time they did a major tie-in to the MCU was Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I mean, they talked about the Sokovia Accords a little bit here and there, but the Age of Ultron was the first, where they actually crossed over, where it was Coulson who gave Fury the helicarrier and Project Theta or whatever it was. And so, I mean, the fact that they haven't done it in S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, but I know in the Netflix series, they seem to, at least with Jessica Jones, they've mentioned a lot more than they ever have before. They still haven't put Avengers Tower into the background, but I don't understand why.
Budget, I'm sure.
Well, Jeff Lowe, I think, is it Jeff Lowe or one of them, whoever's heading up their television stuff, his lame excuse was, well, it's not there because you're supposed to be able to, like, it could be any street corner in New York, and if you look around, you can't. It's like, no, because they do far shots of the entire city. And right by the Chrysler Building, where the Pan Am Building or the MetLife Building is now, should be Avengers Tower, and yet the MetLife Building is visible in your background shots.
They don't do very many establishing shots like that, though.
No, but there have been some major ones where, I mean, the MetLife building was prominently dead screen, and I was like, that's where Avengers Tower is supposed to be.
Well, I bet it's mostly just they don't want to spend the money to do it.
I do like the rumors. The rumors that have been floating around that well, it's, I mean, it's more, I think it's more fan wank than anything, and they're more like, I want this to happen, that Avengers Tower got sold to Reed Richards.
Now, I have a question. Shouldn't Deathlock maybe have been one of the new Avengers recruits?
You think?
He's kind of considered a criminal along with all of the rest of them, man. He's probably not a signatory of the Sokovia Accords. You know, he's probably more hanging out with Cap.
I would think so. And somebody get this man a razor.
Get this man a father.
I think it's kind of weird that they took the character of White Wolf and made Bucky White Wolf.
White Wolf is a weird character to begin with.
But he's still, I mean, yeah, he's a weird character in the whole, in the 616.
I mean, he's a militant black man who's not black.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess it was to fit the narrative that they've got going in the MCU. I still think it's funny that DC has commented on the multiverse and that Marvel is part of the multiverse in their books twice, at least twice in the past few years. It was an alternate version of Alfred is named Jarvis, and in the Superman book they mentioned that the Marvel universe is another timeline. Booster Gold says it.
Yeah, they've made some little kind of Easter egg, you know, tongue-in-cheek jokes.
Yes. I'm guessing Shazam showed up in one of the Marvel books lately.
Oh, yeah, there's an arm and like a cape that could be Shazam, but the coloring is a little different.
Yeah.
But considering that with what we've seen of him for the live-action version, it's pretty off anyway.
Because they were showing all the different versions of Captain Marvel, and then one that looked suspiciously like Shazam.
You know, previously
he'll always be
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's been completely retconned to be Shazam, who originally was just the sorcerer, right? Or the wizard.
Yeah, Shazam was the wizard. Shazam is also the letters represent things.
Yes, they do. They represent like individual
aspects of his powers or something.
Yeah, it's like Samson, Hercules, and I cannot remember where they go on from there. Atlas.
I have to say the Shazam set photos looked terrible.
You know, the more I look at those and then watching the behind-the-scenes stuff on the Blu-rays of Thor, I did not realize that 90% of Hela in costume is a CG body.
Yep.
So it would make me wonder.
I kind of figured that from the way she walks.
Well, no, it's really her, mocapped, but they just added a CG element on top of her. She really was wearing a costume, but it was her actions with a CG body.
Yeah, but it's
body by ILM.
It's gonna take a lot to fix what we saw in those pictures. Like,
well,
and the flat black hair with no, I mean, the hair alone just looked bad.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, the ability, I don't know. I guess it's because what's his name? Zachary Levi is just not a big guy, and I haven't seen him without the costume on. I know he bulked up, but he didn't bulk up anywhere near as much as Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill did for their roles. And I mean,
that
even
we're aware of.
Yeah,
I mean, he's tall. He's like 6'3".
But Henry Cavill, he's shirtless in Justice League, and then he puts the costume on, and he's not that much bigger in costume than he is in real life.
Well, he's just naturally a big dude.
But I mean, he is padded. there is a lot of padding on Superman's costume. Same with Batman.
Wasn't Zachary Levi Balder or something in one of the Thor movies?
In the last 2 Thor movies. Because the original actor couldn't get back for Dark World, so Zachary Levi took over the role. And then died very quickly in Ragnarok.
God, when he has a beard, he looks so much like John Krasinski. It's ridiculous.
I still say John Krasinski should play Reed Richards. If Marvel ever gets their hands on the property. I don't know who I would play the other characters. I would get Chickless back as Thing. Maybe a little CG element, but I would definitely have him in the role. Oh, you know what they really need to do if they do start messing with the time and the reality stone?
There's so much they could do. Honestly, if you think about it, before we get into your thought, they haven't really shown what all of the powers that these things can do.
Not yet.
I mean, the reality stone, they didn't really do much with it. The ether or whatever, that's because that's the reality one, I guess.
So do you think Marvel giving Wolverine an Infinity Stone in the comic books is like a backdoor way to possibly bring him into the MCU?
If he's not in one of the Infinity movies, I'll be surprised.
Those stones will have no bearing on the films.
Kind of like the cancellation of all the Fantastic Four books had no bearing whatsoever on the film. That was said tongue in cheek.
No, I'm being serious on this one.
Yeah, I know.
They will have no bearing because, and they've explained this during the Secret Wars. Yeah, you have an Infinity Gauntlet with Infinity Stones from a different reality. It doesn't have any effect here.
I was just thinking about all the on-screen versions of the Marvel characters we've seen, like Spider-Man, Captain America, the Hulk. Those characters just thrown in, you can CG them into the background in this giant battle scene or whatever is going to be going on because reality has been split and whatever. And how funny it would be to see Lou Ferrigno's Hulk running around. Or the 70s Spider-Man or the Japanese Spider-Man.
Or what, 70s Cap?
70s Cap with his motorcycle helmet.
Japanese.
Well, that's Steve Rogers' son.
Either way, though, it's Reality Stone, man. Reality would be split. They had the ability that Marvel has to do some of this stuff is just outrageous, and which leads me to believe there is so much that's going to happen in these 2 films that is just going to blow our minds because this is it. This is the big blowout for them, and then it's going to restart again.
They're going to do not something else, but they're definitely going to add to it.
I really, really hope. I mean, I realize it's just the fan in me really wanting this, but I would love to see Wolverine in that movie, as well as the like the Netflix characters and those and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of them. Because if you really are going to end it, all of them have come out and said it is get your tissues ready because this is a big ending for this aspect of the MCU. So it's like you can't do that and not have some of these characters come back.
Why the hell is Sony making a Night Watch movie?
Because Spike Lee wants to make a superhero film.
But Night Watch, he's like a crappy version of Spawn.
Which is really sad because Spawn's a crappy version of Spawn. No offense to Todd McFarlane, but that is just a lame character.
Spawn would probably be a better character if Todd McFarlane knew how to pay people.
Ooh.
Well, that's one way to make sure he'll never ever send us a Christmas card. Thanks, Alistair.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Ruin the dream for us.
I don't know.
I didn't just fire shots. I fired missiles.
mean, he's talking about directing the new film himself and
Worked out
the
well
Spawn
last
stuff.
time.
And, yeah. Frank Miller directed a superhero movie. Look what happened there.
What did he direct?
He directed The Spirit, which was basically ripped off everything visually from the Sin City movies. It wasn't a bad film. It just wasn't a great movie.
Oh yeah, I never saw it.
It's one of those came and went kind of things.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer and just going, meh.
Yeah, again, it was. I mean, the visual style was a direct. I mean, it's direct ripoff of the Sin City visual style, which was a Frank Miller visual style from his books. But I would have went somewhere else because The Spirit has never been drawn that well. Will Eisner's Spirit's always been a very colorful comic book, not a black and white movie.
That Spirit movie was so bad. I just, oh my God, it was so bad.
What was the actress in that?
Which one? There was a bunch of them.
The Latino girl. What's her name? She was in Ghost Rider too. I don't know. I was just gonna say. I mean, when you've got a semi-nude shot of her and the movie still sucks, it's bad.
Wait a minute. I know Netflix was doing a Sabrina the Teenage Witch reboot.
Yeah, but it can be dark and gritty. Like the Riverdale. It's a spinoff of Riverdale.
Was it Eva Mendes?
That's it. Eva Mendes.
Ava, sorry.
Yes. She's like the
Giant
poor
robots
man's,
have nothing to do here.
she's the poor man's Jessica Alba.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There's another Christmas card we're not getting.
That's true. Did you see
That's
Well,
two Christmas cards.
Did you see Gabe's Facebook post about Jessica Alba? That if
No.
Jessica Alba was doing crunches, would that be albacore?
Oh, jeez.
He's
And then
been
it just
in
went
a weird mood
It
lately.
went on some weird tangents with people throwing them up there. That if she had no pigment, she'd be albina.
Oh.
What did I throw up there? Oh no! If she was walking over a train bridge, would that be an albatross? Oh, I asked if she had asthma, would she use albuterol?
Oh, how have we not discussed that Deadpool 2 got like smashed in test viewings?
What do you mean smashed?
People like hated it. They're doing reshoots now.
I thought they were doing reshoots to get more cable into it.
Okay, I don't know. See, originally I heard it didn't do well. Then now I'm looking at a headline that says they're reshooting to add more cable after positive test screening. So now I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because originally I saw that it didn't do well in its test screenings.
Who
There
said
was
that? Who said either one?
there's been back and forth, and it's been all I actually watched a video on it, but some guy who's actually a really big movie critic said that every person he has talked to has said it is absolutely good. That it's, and all the reviews that he has seen so far have been either in the 90 to top score percentage.
Okay,
Wow.
apparently 2 days ago, Cinema Blend said Josh Brolin confirms Deadpool 2 reshoots as test screenings reportedly go poorly. Then yesterday, Movie Phone said Deadpool 2 test screenings went poorly, not so fast. And apparently Collider said that the test screenings didn't. Or no, Collider said that people wanted to see more Domino and Cable.
But it's Deadpool. I go to watch for Deadpool. I don't care about Cable and Domino. They should be secondary at best. In my opinion. Anyway, So, yeah, well, when it comes out, it comes out. It'll probably be just fine. Will it be as great as the first one? No, because it never is. Everybody's looking stuff up.
Eh?
I'm assuming. I mean, everyone suddenly went silent.
Everything went silent.
I'm just dealing with a cough.
Oh, well, coughing is good.
Well, at least, you know, you're here, so you can prove that you're alive. We want our randos to know that you are alive.
Randos.
I don't know. Were you still here for that?
For what?
I'm going to say no, that you were not here for that.
For what?
You did a shout-out.
The shout-out, yeah. I was here for the shout-out.
Okay, well, you were silent the whole time of it, so I thought you were...
Oh, I was in the middle of getting stuff? No, I was getting the stuff ready for the opening teaser. For the new animated opening.
Well, hopefully, if we say shout out to the two randos enough times, maybe they'll show up and we can actually stop calling them randos. We're easy to find, guys. We're either on YouTube or Twitch when we're actually doing the show. You can also find us Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, tweet. There's a lot of T's involved.
What's very upsetting to me is there's another Geek EZ on YouTube.
We've discussed this.
I know.
But they haven't done anything, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
They've done like 3 shows in the past year.
We do one every week.
But I believe they have a larger fan base than we do.
Probably because they actually go full on production. We just go live and sit here and ramble. Ramble.
Speaking of rumbling and rambling, Firefly did throw out something that was kind of cool. It's a Kickstarter for something called Iron Harvest. It's a classic real-time strategy game with an epic single-player campaign, multiplayer, and co-op set in the alternate reality of 1920 plus. And they have hit their goal. They had a $450,000 goal, and they have $475,000 with 6,000 backers. They have 30 days to go.
Black Panther has officially passed the $1 billion mark.
Ooh.
Won't be changing my subject when we would just change subjects.
Subject changer.
Jerk.
You know what that reminds me of?
You're going to change the subject again, aren't you? Yeah, I'm on to you. I know how you work. Anyway, real quick, just to kind of go over it. The video that they do have in there, I mean, then the photos actually looks really cool. I definitely kind of dig it. You got like World War or mechs from in World War II / World War One.
Can you dig it?
The graphics are fantastic. It's got I think it's isometric views and such. Not quite steampunky, more of a, I guess, diesel punk. Think that'd be the right time period for it.
Diesel punk, but no alcohol.
No alcohol. Though you can play as the Russians. Not that I'm saying anything about that.
Our podcast would fit right in.
I'm looking at a GIF image here that they have on it, and it's a machine gun, but it has like multiple little legs. It moves itself. That's weird. I'm just imagining, somebody's gets behind an emplacement to fire the thing off, and then they hit the wrong button, and it just decides to walk away. No, come back here! You come back with my machine gun.
That's funny. I clicked on the link and I get a 404.
What link?
The Kickstarter link.
That one? And yeah, I figure it was definitely a crew-served weapon. It just entertained me that it just would move. It decided to move itself. My machine gun's possessed.
That's really weird. I copied the link exactly as it was in my browser, put it into the YouTube chat, and I get a 404 when I click on the link in the YouTube chat. But when I click the link in here, it goes right up.
Weird, man. Your internet's got issues.
That's just real. I have to wonder if it's YouTube. Could be. Either way.
Could be. Since
Those look pretty cool.
I may get into that when it comes out. As a side note, speaking of military stuff, Alistair, the comment that you made today was just absolutely hysterical. About the Marine Corps. Whoa.
Okay. I'm going to comment on this, and this is basically going to go straight into our mature audience thing. And while not political in sense, it does involve Trump. So Trump tweeted something about the Marine Corps, and his initial tweet spelled Corps as C-O-R-E instead of properly. And this made me imagine some military black site trying to convert the, as I say, the piss and vinegar of Corps men and women into, clean energy. So, like, normally when you listen to a warp core, it goes wom, wom, wom. I was imagining a core going, fuck, shit, fuck.
And instantly after I read that, I'm busy laughing. I show it to my coworkers, and then I had to respond with, Scotty, we need warp drive now. Captain, warp drive is offline. It's out of fucks to give.
Knowing a whole lot of Marines, that makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that is a prerequisite, and that word is a prerequisite in Marine boot.
That's kind of a prerequisite for most military servicemen.
True.
The problem is that
too much entertainment out of it, I admit.
The problem is that all the skull necessary to power a Marine Corps would make it unclean energy.
He's not wrong.
Skull power.
No. See, you don't have a dilithium. You have to use skull. That's how the the piss and vinegar interact. They hit the skull, and that's how you get power.
I
think we need to get Terminal Lance on here. They should run with that idea. I love it.
You touched on Donald Trump thing, and then there was a social thing that I wasn't sure I wanted to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up because it's not really political, more as it is social in the social aspects of things and social rules that kind of made me raise my eyebrows. Again, this is a Gabe Koner posting on Facebook. He posted a video and comments about Katy Perry. Now, I do not watch American Idol. Katy Perry kissed a guy on American Idol after he said he didn't want to. She made him come over and she gave him a kiss on the cheek, and then she asked for another and then turned her head, landing her lips on his. Now, this guy, he's got his own personal beliefs, and we're not going to go into that, on how he wanted he's 19 years old, had never kissed a girl, and he wanted his first kiss to be with someone he actually cared about. And he made those comments and stuff, and Katy Perry kissed him, although he didn't want to be kissed. And a lot of guys were all flipping out, saying he was too uptight and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, but not really. In my eyes, it's not really, because had the tables been flipped and had been one of the male judges who had done that to a female contestant, we would not have heard the end of it on social media.
That's true.
And I really found that to be, it was like, okay, that was an unwanted advance on somebody who said they didn't want to have something happen, had something happen, and yet all these guys were saying he was too uptight and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well,
just because you would have wanted it doesn't mean he did.
Yeah, for real. And it was just like, how was that not? If the tables were turned, that judge would have been fired. Had it been the opposite way, had it been a male judge kissing a female contestant, the judge would have been fired for harassment.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. And the double standard is kind of telling, and I was like, well, you know what? And then it was the responses from all these guys that were basically poo-pooing it, and I was like, well, now it kind of makes me raise my eyebrows and saying, okay, maybe the whole idea of the evolved male has not happened yet. If you don't see something wrong with that or a double standard on that aspect, it kind of bothers me. I was like, yeah, no, she still did something that he asked her not to do. Now, did he put himself in the situation? He sure enough did, which it was dumb on his part. Because he walked right into it. I mean, he walked up to her desk and allowed her to kiss him on the cheek and whatever. I'm not getting into that, but I'm not saying he was asking for it. But either way, had the tables been turned in the same exact situation, if it had been a male judge kissing a female contestant, it would have been, there would have been hell to pay. Twitter would have exploded. There would have been a meltdown of every blue hair on Twitter that would have, it would have been bad. Or purple hair, sorry. Blue hairs are old people, purple hairs are the feminists. Yes, I know, there's a whole lot of birthday cards we're not getting now.
So many birthday cards.
Christmas cards.
Birthday, Christmas, we're kind of covering everything now.
But it made my eyebrows go up. I was like, whatever.
It is a double standard.
It just goes to prove that he kissed a girl and didn't like it.
That was happening.
That was actually in one of the articles I read about it. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on. While we're rambling, let's ramble about Rebels and the future of Star Wars animation and television shows. Because we never even touched on the fact that Jon Favreau will be writing and directing the live-action Star Wars show that will be on Disney's streaming. Which I'm all kinds of giddy about because I like Jon Favreau.
And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think a Disney streaming service is going to be more worth it than, say, CBS All Access. Because, like, with CBS All Access, the only thing I really got going for me is Discovery.
Yep. Until they pull all the other Star Trek titles from all the other streaming networks.
I thought they're already there.
What? No, Netflix still has all the Star Trek shows.
But they're already on All Access.
They are. But you have them on Netflix as well. When CBS decides, well, to get our streaming back up, and people, I'm just curious what the numbers.
That's going to be the thing. They're not going to be able to do that on a all-round basis, because if you own it on Amazon, you own it on Amazon.
True. I don't know. It's just I would love to see the numbers on All Access.
The drop-off.
The drop-off. I want to know what the numbers were on the drop-off of subscribers for All Access. Now, Disney's, I don't think will have major drop-off because, are they going to pull all their films from Netflix? Probably. But Disney has, 75 years of stuff to go back on. And they can put stuff on there that hasn't been seen in ages. And they can do the new content of stuff people want to see. Marvel shows, Star Wars shows, more Disney stuff, more actual kids stuff. And they can go all out.
They did say that the current dark and gritty stuff like Punisher and Jessica Jones and Daredevil and all that stuff will stay on Netflix. Then those shows will continue to be developed on Netflix. Yet
a Star Wars show, which is about death and destruction in a galaxy far, far away, will be on the Disney one.
Yeah, but Star Wars tends to hide that a little bit more. Rogue One was pretty much the first venture into that.
Mm-hmm. On the flip side of that, since we'll talk about Rebels anyway, Rebels handled the blatant killing of people in a fairly cavalier way.
Yeah, that's the thing I was thinking about when I was watching the last couple episodes, is they've handled it very well, because I remember one of the first comments we made right after this first season started was a comment that you made regarding how it was very clear that a stormtrooper had died because he was shot near point blank in the helmet.
Yes. I mean, in the first episode alone, you have 2 point blank shots to the head, 2 grenades going off, one right in somebody's lap or in his hands. And I was like, I mean, and again, very cavalier, very nonchalant way. I mean, it's not bloody. Even the explosions in outer space aren't fiery like they are in the films. They did later on, the seasons went on, they got a little more in the aspects of flames and fire. But in the first season, when a TIE fighter exploded, it was a white puff of smoke. There was never an explosion. It was a white puff of smoke, and then the debris would fall out of that smoke. But I mean, again, it's Star Wars, and Star Wars has been about the fight against the Empire, and that they're faceless and they don't have personalities and stuff, unlike, say, the clones in the Clone Wars, which was a whole different thing for me because that was a very grown-up cartoon comparatively. Yep. It was an animated show. It was not a show made for, even though it was TV Y7, it wasn't made for that young an age. I mean, the episode where the Jedi Knight turns bad. Too. Yeah, the episode where the Jedi Knight turned bad and attacked his own clones. That was just downright vicious and actually like brutal at times. I mean, I was amazed at that episode. But I'd be curious to see how they handle it. Because, I mean, like you said, Rogue One was the first one that delved into it, where you had, I mean, there was a stormtrooper shot point blank in the head in that one, too. Paz does it. He just walked up and shot the dude. I was like, whoa, okay. There's somebody whose kid's not going to get to see their dad no more. But it'd be interesting. And with Jon Favreau writing it, you never know where it's going to go. It might actually just take place within the universe, but not be a war story. Who knows? I doubt it, but let's talk the Rebels and the ending. We'll spoil it.
Do people just not age in the Star Wars universe?
Well, she's a Toruga, dude. It is Toruga, right?
But none of them aged.
No, Ahsoka's aged. So did Ezra. So they all did age.
Sabine did age. They aged her up a little bit.
Sabine cut her hair.
No, dude, they changed her face a little bit.
Yeah, she's very clearly older.
Alistair jumped on me on this when I mentioned it to him on Facebook, but I know I'm not the only one that's mentioned it. I think IO9 said something about it.
Do not make me drop kick you.
I'm sorry.
I will drive to Fayetteville right now and drop kick you.
What?
The impression they gave off is that Zeb and Kallus are a couple by the end.
I got none of that.
I caught none of that. I read about it later.
It was very clear throughout the last, when he interacted with him, that Kallus respected Zeb and Zeb respected Kallus, particularly because of Kallus's respect for Vilsat culture.
Yes. I didn't get I didn't catch any of that until I read it on. It was probably IO9.
Yeah, because Filoni is apparently fine with people shipping them.
What is he going to say? No?
Other creators have.
But he's David Filoni. He doesn't care.
Yeah. He's not William Shatner, dude.
Who can be surprisingly
abrupt.
Right. No, he says some stuff on Twitter, although there's a lot of rumors that he's not involved with his Twitter anymore, that comes across as, I don't want to say alt-right, but
he's anti-shipper. He's very anti-shipper, I can tell you that.
Well, yes. I'm not talking about shipping stuff, like calling people snowflakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've caught a couple of that.
It's a brand of language that some people would say leans towards alt-right. Yes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying some people would say that.
True. But back to Filoni. What is Filoni? It's like when people were shipping Finn and Poe. I don't get, what was it, Pin or was it Foe? I mean, what were they? But either way, it was like, what are they going to say? No? Even though they very, very much established that Finn is heterosexual in the films, and so is Poe. I mean, Poe, the way he was looking at Rey at the end of that movie, it was just like, how you doing? But, I mean...
Did you see that recently Oscar Isaac signed a sign that said Poe X Finn is endgame.
Apparently, some people view Hondo and Melch as a couple.
But, I mean, hopefully they'll announce it soon as to where they're going to go next. I am hoping they do a post-Jedi series.
I'd like to see a post-Jedi series because we really need to fill in that gap.
Mm-hmm.
One guy I talked to who's really into the, he's even gotten some credits in some of the old books and stuff like that, thinks that they're probably going to do something that's between Bloodlines and the start of Force Awakens.
Which is like roughly a 20-year period, right?
Bloodlines, I think, ends at 6 years before.
Well, I mean, the way they left Rebels is open for a sequel. I mean, it was like, okay, you can just start a whole new series right there.
Yeah, especially when Hera suddenly has a kid.
Which makes no sense to me. When they mentioned the fact
when did
that,
the whole point of this season was that they didn't have any time to be alone together? When did they have time to do that?
It was a magical kiss.
I guess, man. There was a whole lot of midichlorians getting spread in that kiss.
You do forget that she is an alien.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where the who says that's where it all goes.
That's true. We have no idea. I mean, even though Twi'leks or Twi'leks, depending on how you want to say it, how they reproduce. I mean, yes, they're supposed to be hypersexual creatures in the Star Wars universe.
No, they're not really. They're just often used as slaves.
True.
Yeah, for all we
but
know,
they're always hypersexualized.
For all we know, the mouth does double duty.
Could be.
Jesus Christ, Tank.
I didn't say anything explicit.
Dude, not everybody keeps their genitals in the same place.
Exactly. That's where I was going with it.
Balchinian.
So I know supposedly, oh God, I just forgot her name. I almost called her Snips, her nickname.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka's costume is apparently extremely meaningful, according to Filoni. Like, that's why they haven't released the design to cosplayers and stuff. There's something extremely meaningful about what she's wearing when she shows up to Sabine.
It's just nice to know who survived.
They don't need to release it. Now they've seen it, they'll make it themselves. We are not exactly correct, but they'll do it.
And we do know who was on the Ghost during the Battle of Scarif.
Probably Chopper and Hera.
No, I'm pretty sure they were all on it.
Well, not all.
Not all, no. But the
Zeb was probably there.
I want to
Sabine
know.
was probably there.
Rex.
But yeah, the whole idea of Jason Syndulla, which I love the fact that he used Jason Solo's name. But yeah, the aspect of, let's see, Rebels takes place. It ends a year and a half before A New Hope, which would have roughly 6 months before Rogue One.
Question: when does that end?
Well, no, Rogue One takes place literally 5 minutes before, so I would put it a year before Rogue One. Probably. Somewhere in there, a year to 6 months before Rogue One. I don't think they exactly say. But that means somehow Kanan and Hera got together, and those words were never uttered in an act that usually those words are uttered. Really? And then she not only knew she was carrying a kid, but went into battle multiple times.
Well, if you listen to Sabine's narrative at the end of the episode, they imply that she took the kid into battle.
Yeah, I know.
Not just while she was pregnant. That he was
still just the age they had him sitting there. I'm like, there's no way that kid is 11 years old. That looked like a 6-year-old kid.
They age fast.
I guess. Or they don't age fast. I have no either way. It was like the timeline's messed up here somewhere. something's wrong, because unless they've got like a liquid nitrogen tank on the Ghost somewhere, and Kanan made himself a little deposit before he left, something's wrong. He was feeling the force.
So, the liberation of Lothal is within less than 12 months of Scarif.
Yeah, which would have put her as just being a postnatal woman with a newborn child at the Battle of Scarif.
Technically, we don't know if she's the one who flew the Ghost.
True.
Oh my god, I know what happened to Ezra and Thrawn.
They've been visited by Waru.
No, Harvey Mudd killed them when he put a ship inside a space whale.
Shut up.
I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you.
What? They leave with space whales?
Out, you!
To be honest, I'm going to say this honestly, with all of the Discovery and my turnaround on Discovery, and that I actually do find the show enjoyable, Harry Mudd was the worst aspect of that show. The inclusion of that character it could have been any character. They did not do it.
I don't like having Harry Mudd on the show because the characterization we've seen on Discovery does not match the character.
See, it's weird
at all.
Because I like Harry Mudd as he appears in Discovery, but he's not Harry Mudd.
That's what I'm saying. He could have just been an original character.
Yep.
There was zero reason for it to be Harry
Then
Mudd.
again, dude, 10 years of being browbeaten.
Yeah, but the problem is that they run his record when he appears the first time on the original series. And you'd think there'd be some mention of the fact that the dude's a traitor to the human race and all this other stuff.
You also try
the human species and the Federation. And
I want to know what happened to Stella.
Assuming anything that happened like that was considered to be non-top secret.
True. I'm still trying to figure out what happened to what's her name? I just said her name.
Stella.
Stella
went. She went from fairly attractive to, but then again, what we're seeing is Harry's idea of Stella.
True. Harcourt Fenton.
I'm kind of curious because, well, we know that Filoni said that Ezra and Thrawn are both alive.
Yes.
Which means they probably dropped out somewhere that has an atmosphere because there weren't any windows.
We finally know who the voice of Chopper is.
Filoni himself.
Yep.
That part of the Rebels Recon was great. If you guys don't watch Rebels Recon, I recommend you watch that last one. Oh, Chopper having an existential crisis is great.
I have to watch it. I have not watched it yet.
I really want to know what's going to happen.
I do too, and not only with Rebels, with JJ's episode 9, and the fact that Ryan Johnson is still not putting any kibosh on any romantic stuff going on between Kylo and Rey. And I'm sorry, but the Star Wars saga in the Star Wars saga has been about the Skywalker line. Ben Solo by himself is not enough to carry that lineage through the next film.
Assuming that they intend for the Skywalker lineage to continue.
Well,
I don't want a relationship between Rey and Kylo.
I really do believe that they were intended to be brother and sister.
Besides, boy, that's gonna just kill the shippers. Oh man,
yeah.
There's so many people who ship those two. It's an abusive relationship at best, guys. This is not good.
Also, according to a friend of mine, I haven't had a chance to read it, but according to a friend of mine, it is implied in the novel that Luke had a wife.
No, I've read the novel, and I don't want to spoil it, but while it is implied, there is a reason behind the wife.
They're also going under the
lot?
assumption that that Leia didn't have any other kids.
True. Somewhere along the line, something's wrong.
You know, of course, there's a reason behind the wife. Dad aft.
Get out.
Hey, I can't be the only one who's threatened people to get out. So
I gotta say though, the novel was a quick read. Not just because I knew what was happening, but it was just a quick read in general. I think I ripped through the book in less than 12 hours.
I should probably acquire it.
And the stuff they threw in and the little expositions and the brain thoughts and stuff of what goes on definitely somehow should have been put into the film. It would have made the film so much more relatable for a lot more people. A lot of people who were complaining about Luke's characterization, a lot of people who were complaining about Rey's characterization would have, had they been able to use what they put in the book that you can write, but there's very hard ways to put that visually without them like doing exposition and saying it out loud. But yeah, it makes Luke's character much more believable. But I won't spoil it for anybody who wants to read the book.
Mm.
I have to acquire it first.
Yes.
I should probably acquire the novelization of the previous one too.
If you have a Kindle, I think it was only like $11 on Kindle.
Now that I think about it, I should probably get the novelizations for all of them because I don't have all of them. I know I've got Revenge of the Sith.
You know what? If you don't mind reading it digitally on a tablet or something, I don't know. Do you have a tablet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See if your library, if you just want to read it before buying it, we have an app called Libby that I have, and you can get it for free on both Android and iOS. And it's run by, I don't remember the name of the company that runs it, but they do library checkouts. And my library, our public library, has like 53,000 books that you can borrow digitally and read them on your tablet.
Yeah, there's a number of apps like that. You have to find out which one your library is using.
Ours uses Libby, and they're pretty. It's a lot of places from what I gather now. So I would highly recommend it because now we can get books for our kids for them to read for class or whatever, and right there it's just like boom, hey look, they got the book you're looking for. We can borrow it for 21 days, and you have to return it, which is really funny. You actually have to hit the return button, or else you get charged a fine.
Yeah, there's definitely apps that do that. But honestly, I'm gonna buy the books because collection.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go into collection.
Yeah, and there's something about having a tangible book to hold and read. I'm all about the tangible thing. I don't know why. It's like
I'm all about that base.
Me too. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, you got the digital. Why do you need to get the Blu-ray?" Because, man, there's no way that it's like I don't care what Apple TV has. I don't care what the Roku's got, and they claim it's 4K UHD. I don't care what they say. If you were to download that file, or you look at what your computer, because I have it with my VPN, I can see how much data is coming in. When you open a Blu-ray, it's 35 gigs of video and audio. When you download a digital copy of it, it's 4 to 5 gigs. It's much more compressed. It's not a true 4K image like you would get on a Blu-ray. The quality's just not there. And I'm all about the quality. It's like, now it's funny, audio-wise, I have a hard time differentiating between an MP3 and FLAC.
Oh, FLAC?
Yeah. Which is completely raw data compared to an MP3, which is, or an M4V or whatever it is, that are completely compressed. I don't have the audio craziness that I know some people that can hear the highs and lows. I don't hear them. Oh, speaking of audio, I gotta find the link. I don't have the link available. I did not realize that there is a website where you can go listen to the soundtracks that were put up for consideration for Academy Awards. And I went and listened to the Star Wars one that John Williams put out there, that they put out for your consideration. And it's the audio that was in the film, not on the official release. So it's different. It's the music that was actually in the movie compared to the movie, the audio that was recorded for the official soundtrack.
Probably because they have to do it that way.
They have to, yes, because that is exactly how it sounds in the film. So therefore, this is what they need to hear. And yeah, there was a bit of differences. I listened to one then the other, and I actually had iTunes open with the soundtrack, and then I had that open. I was listening back and forth. They're different. Especially, I mean, they don't have the opening theme, which I would love to hear, because the opening theme is much different than it is on the official soundtrack compared to what it was in the films. It's still not the same opening theme that we heard in the original 6, but because they just don't have that horn. I don't know why they got rid of it, but that horn is missing in the beginning, that opening fanfare. It's like a slightly tinny, off-tune trumpet that's not in the 2 new films. It's more of a muted sound.
Maybe it's a stylistic choice on Williams' part.
Possibly. And here I am knocking on wood that he makes it to the end of episode 9 so he can score that one before he retires.
Oh, he plans to.
I know he plans to, but the man's old. And it's, what, 2 years?
In December of 2019, but filming starts pretty soon.
True, it does.
I think he'll make it. I'm going to be positive here.
Show of hands, do we really care about the next X-Men movie?
Yeah.
You can't
Next
see my
X-Men
hand anyway.
movie?
Yeah.
I haven't even been tracking that there was another one.
Yeah, they're doing the Dark Phoenix saga.
Honestly, I don't think I could care any less at this point.
After Apocalypse, nope.
I still haven't seen Apocalypse.
Ain't missing much.
Nope.
You're missing like one really cool scene with Quicksilver.
True.
And even that was, yeah, and even that was like, okay, well, you just rehashed what you did in the first one.
It was cooler, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still. I mean, I like the characterization of Quicksilver in the X-Men movies compared to the Avengers version. But I think the Avengers version was probably closer to the comic books, attitude-wise.
Attitude-wise, he was definitely very spiritual, very holy.
Yes. Bleeding for the cause. Puns are free, folks.
Hopefully he's going to lose his Pun Master title if he keeps this up.
So, do we want to have a last call?
We probably should. Calling it. Last call.
All right, so my last call is one. Finally renewed my subscription to Netflix. Caught up on a couple of shows. I've caught up on Voltron and I've caught up on Punisher. Really liked Punisher.
Told you it was good.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I was very impressed. They did not hold back at all.
No, that last episode was brutal.
Oh, good Lord, yes. But then I started watching and I actually finished. It's called Be the Beginning. Is in the letter B and then the beginning. And it's one of these animes that's localized and brought to America by Netflix themselves. And I like how my dad
Did we just lose him?
You roboted and disappeared.
The notorious DAD has taken him away.
Where'd he go?
I'm
I don't
here.
know. You stopped talking. You roboted and then the last word we got was dad.
Yep. My dad sent me a message, and I guess it freaked out my internet.
See, I told you, the notorious DAD struck.
But it's a little out there. The series. I'm going to mute my phone because he's going to keep sending me messages because he's going to try and get popular that way. But I highly recommend watching it. It's got some really great characterizations, very entertaining characters. And it's an interesting series because it has two protagonists.
Does it have an antagonist?
It has two antagonists.
What about Sutagonist?
Well, no, there's no Sutagonist.
Wouldn't that be a sufftagonist?
Suffragist.
Whole different field, dude. That's like Mary Poppins.
Slightly different. Which is
Mary
being
Poppins, y'all.
There's a sequel. They actually are making a sequel.
With Yonda Odonta.
And Emily something.
Yes.
Can't remember her last name. I keep wanting to say Blunt. I don't know if that's right.
Is it Emily Blunt? Probably is.
I have no last call items.
Trying to think, do I have anything last call? No, not really.
Well, okay, I suppose.
Aside from, I guess, what did the Incredibles drop another trailer?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind then.
I guess a tiny last call. I did send your comment to Terminal Lance Alistair.
My last.
Swear to God.
Totally did. It had to be done. If he does not laugh at it, I will be shocked. You're gonna talk, Wolfie, or what? Come on, anytime.
My last call is apparently that Laura Dern couldn't help making pew pew noises when she fired her blaster in The Last Jedi.
Which actually fits that character.
Yes. Now, is it just me, or is she like really hot in that movie?
Hold on.
Might be just you.
Hold on.
Attractive, yes. Really hot? Not my type.
So my dad just called me an asshole because I muted my phone because he sent me messages, and I'm going to say this. Yes, Dad, I am an asshole. I took after you.
I'm an asshole.
I just see this now. The conversation like, who'd you learn this from? You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Okay, before we go, have we all watched The Punisher?
No.
Yes.
It's just that last fight scene on the carousel.
Oh man.
The mirror.
Yeah, that mirror scene. I was like, oh, it's stuck. Oh.
Now,
yeah.
What really bites is because I mean it was just like the first time was like and then back up again and then I realized where the character was going because I had no idea what the character's real name in the books was. I knew the character they were going for, but I was that's so messed up. And then it was it was one of those sphincter tightening kind of scenes.
You didn't realize he was going to become Jigsaw?
I was going to say, did Jigsaw make an appearance?
No, he doesn't actually. Not yet.
No,
he
but
will.
He has his Bruce Wayne in an alleyway moment though.
He sure enough does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say that it started off a little slow for me. I was like, and by the time we got to 5 or 6 episodes in, it got much better, much more comic booky.
There's some people
still grounded.
Still grounded. There's some people who didn't like the subplot part of it, but it's like it's a parcel with him, man. You need it.
Which subplot?
Yeah, but even then,
part.
I don't know. It felt a little tacked on to me.
I didn't think so. In no way, shape, or form did it feel tacked on to me.
I think maybe it's just because it really didn't have any bearing on the rest of the show. I don't know.
That's what
Either
it
way,
led to, I think. It's just the different paths.
And just remember that the Punisher series is like a visual representation of whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or whatever doesn't kill you, but it doesn't. It won't kill you. But
that which has not killed you has made a tactical error.
Yes, but it also is you'd be amazed what you can live through. That mirror scene. Oh. But all right, that was my last call. We're done, and we'll be back next week. Maybe I'll go see Tomb Raider.
I don't know if I'm going to see that.
And I will do this right now. I think it was CBR or comicbook.com, one of the two. The photo you chose for your article on the mixed reviews that Tomb Raider is getting with the down shirt shot of Lara Croft was tasteless, in my opinion. But that's just me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll find the link for it and I'll bring it up. It was on Facebook, big broad photograph of a shot looking down where you look literally right down her tank top.
Or she's hanging off of something at CBR.
Yeah, right down her tank top, through her boobs to her stomach. I'm like, really? That's the shot you chose. Of all the different photos and promo shots that are out there, that's the shot you chose.
It's completely tasteless. Ooh, that is a good shot. I mean, tasteless, completely tasteless.
Well, it's just it for what the article is about. It's a tasteless shot. But either way,
I'm probably not going to go see the film because it's based off the first reboot game, and I tried to play that game, and to me, I know a lot of people loved it. A lot of people absolutely loved it, but to me, it was less me playing Tomb Raider and more how many different ways can we brutally kill Lara Croft.
Little misogynistic.
It was very torture porn. I mean, there's literally you could die right off the bat, and all the deaths are brutal. Like you're falling, she falls into a running river, and she gets pulled through the running river, and then gets her chin impaled on a spike.
Nice.
Mauled to death by wolves. Shot by people who it's very heavily implied intend to rape her. There's a lot of brutal deaths in that game, and I just could not get past it. I'm like, I'm not getting any enjoyment out of this. This is, I mean, I can play horror games. I can play games where you die brutally, but there's so much, and it's like the focus of the game instead of the narrative, and I'm like, I cannot do this.
Yeah, that's not good. Well, to lighten things up, let's just all remember how awesome Gal Gadot is as Wonder Woman.
Yes. Did you see the image where Gal Gadot and I can't think of his name from
Mark.
Black Panther?
No, I saw the one of her, Mark Hamill.
No, there was. I didn't see that one, but I just see one where the two of them were together, and she's doing the arms crossed deal, you know, for Wonder Woman, and he's doing the Wakanda Forever.
Nice.
And then somebody went and apparently applied their costumes to them.
Sweet. That's what we need. We need an Avengers Justice League crossover. That movie would make serious bank.
And they'll just wait. Disney will buy out DC.
No, they won't. But either way, we're done. We'll be back next week as we get one more viewer on YouTube. Sorry, guys, but you missed the show. You can go back and watch it, rewind it. We really just ramble on and on and on about stuff. And
come back next week. If you're one of the randos, definitely come back.
Come back, yeah. Come back next week. We'll be back next week every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. And as we hit the 2-hour mark in 45 seconds, I'm going to hit the closings, and we'll be back next week. See ya.
As a funny side note, Rando 1, Rando 2, show up as that in the chat. That would be hysterical. Please do.
Also, buy my old man a coffee. He's an old man, and I don't do it for him because he's an old man. Uh-huh.